Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad you signed up for this free class. I'm super excited to be here and to share this new method that I created from this ancient system of healing to help women discover who they are, what they want, and how to get it. So I'll give you a couple minutes to kind of get settled in. I would grab a pen and some paper. You'll want to take some notes today. And if you stay towards the end, I'll give you a link where you can get a free gift so you can start getting that roadmap to your most authentic and happiest life started today. So turn off all your other browsers, get rid of any other distractions, and just really dedicate this time to yourself to finally make yourself a priority and to start creating the life that you want. Okay, well, welcome. I'm so excited to take some time to share this new transformational program for women to discover their true selves from the ground up, to discover who they are, what they want, what their obstacles are, how to overcome those, and how to build a roadmap to move forward and live the life that you've always dreamed. And I am here today to share this method and this process and tell you how. So, who is this class for? We'll see if you're in the right spot, if this is going to resonate with you, if you are ready and in this position to move forward and create the life that you want. So, this program is for people that perhaps feel a little bit lost in life. Right? We wake up one day and we're like, wow, I'm not where I thought I would be. You want to make that commitment to move forward. So this is a process to really discover who you are as a person. If where you're at in life and what direction you're moving in really aligns with who you are as a person. And if you're coming from that place of authenticity and really stepping into your power, using your voice, and really having that drive to bring what you want into your life. If you want to face some hard obstacles that have been in your way and holding you back until now, then you are in the right place. And if you want to create a roadmap to move forward and live the life that you've always wanted, then awesome, stick with me. Stick with me for a while. We have about an hour together, and I'm going to share lots of good information. And again, I'll give you a link towards the end where you can get your discovery wheel and start to map out your life and see the steps you can start taking to move forward today. So this method, this new Discover Yourself Elevation method and program is based on an ancient system of healing to finally start living the life that you want without apology and to start creating a life that aligns with who you are as a person. So it's time to discover what it is that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself to begin today. My name is Heather Rae. I am a transformational coach working to help women finally get unstuck and take action to live authentically from the heart and unapologetically bring what they want into their lives. So today I'm giving you these secrets to my new program, the Discover Yourself Elevation Method, and to tell you how to get there and how you can start today. I'm also, I bring a lot of other things into the fold through this process. I wear a lot of different hats, so I'm also a yoga instructor, a meditation coach, a body and energy worker. So this program is a culmination of many years of working in my private practice. It's based off an ancient system of healing, and it helps to bring balance to every aspect of our being. So moving through every level of this method, we work from the ground up to discover who we really are, mind, body, and spirit. So who here has ever woken up one day and just felt like, wow, this is not where I thought I would be at this point in my life? Am I where I want to be? Do I have the kind of love and passion that I want in my life? And if I don't, what does that even look like? Do you often get this feeling in your gut that perhaps there's something missing. This sinking, empty feeling that perhaps you're not even in touch with who you are as a person, perhaps a bit lost. Oftentimes we find ourselves in these situations in life. We're going through life, we're thinking to ourselves, I'm in my relationships, I'm in these roles that I play each and every day, but something's missing. And sometimes we're not even sure what that is, but we just know that life does not feel cohesive in the moment. There's, again, this aching feeling in our gut that's not knowing who we are, not knowing how we want to show up in the world, what's important to us. Are we moving along that right path? And it's oftentimes that authenticity that we're craving. We want to live a full, authentic life from the heart without apology, and knowing if what we're doing is aligning with ourselves as a person. So coming from this place of authenticity and really standing up for what I wanted and taking that chance to move forward took me a really long time to get to. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you to get started today, to let you know how I got to where I am and moving through this process in this way. First, starting out the first half of my life, I didn't have a whole lot of direction. So, a little awkward as a child trying to move through life, trying to fit in, trying to perhaps match all these, either masks or personas of other people that I thought I needed to be like to fit in. And, perhaps ignoring or pushing away certain aspects of myself at that time. I didn't really have a plan growing up and moving through, graduation and school and going into college. I tried my best to get through. I was a little confused as what I wanted to do with my life. So I just kind of picked some general courses just to feel like I was accomplishing something and doing something. And trying to discover and feed my passions in a way as best as I could for myself at the time. And again, I bounced from major to major. I had no clear direction. Still not even sure who I was as a person. And waiting at tables in college, and I was really driven and motivated at that time. And long story short, I was doing a good job at my job, so I kept getting promoted, and I got promoted. And, eventually I became a manager. I was making really good money. I decided to drop out of school. I was like, I have a steady paycheck. I have a title. Maybe this is what I want. Maybe this is my role in life. Started to feel a little important and useful and then starting to help and guide people in a positive way. So this went on, and on and on and on, and it served its purpose at the time. But, I eventually started to feel, almost like a sinking feeling, like I was running on an endless treadmill with no real end in sight. And still having that really big disconnect with who I was as a person. And I started to feel really lost. And I felt like as though I was just existing, and that was it. So I was completely disconnected from my body. My mind, my spirit were somewhere else, completely different. And again, a really big disconnect for me at that point in my life. I self-medicated old wounds. I tucked emotions deep down, just different nooks and crannies. I packed them away, locked them up really tight, and I became numb to who I was most of the time. My walls were really high. I didn't let any intimacy or closeness into my life from anyone. I was very guarded and very protected. I was a big self-sabotager. So not thinking that I was worthy of getting too much in life. So I would always subconsciously block a lot of good things that could have come my way at the time. And on top of all that, childhood trauma really, really blocked me in certain areas in my life, took the magic away from my life really early. And I was kind of in a survival mode for a really long time. I was just surviving. I was existing. And that was about it until I started to get this, stronger and stronger feeling as I was sinking into this unhealthy space for myself. So, do you know when perhaps you've experienced this, when you start to get these little gentle nudges from the universe, these little whispers that, wow, maybe I'm not on the right path. Maybe I really need to start making some changes here. And you start to get these signals. Sometimes they can be really subtle. Sometimes they can smack you upside the back of the head, punch you in the gut so that you do not misunderstand what is being said to you. And whether or not, that is, the universe, if you feel like it's your higher self, your soul speaking to you, whatever that is, ancestors, guides, trying to lead you in the right direction and in the right path. So I started to get some of these messages. I started to listen to some of these whispers and know I needed to make some changes in my life. I knew that my walls were too high. I wasn't letting anything in, as far as being loved and allowing myself to love in a certain way. I wasn't fulfilled in my career. I felt like my soul was non-existent, and like my soul was pleading for me to wake up, to see it, to feel it, and to know that it was there. And I started to get these little hints on different things and steps that I could take to start to heal and start to really step into the life that I really wanted for myself. So that's when I started to begin my journey. I really started to explore some self-care for myself. I started to let go of some of the self-sabotaging, some of the toxic and destructive behaviors that I was falling into. And that led me to my first yoga class to start. And I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was really awkward. I was very self-conscious, sitting in the back. So nobody could see how awkward I was, how uncomfortable I was, even just being in my own skin. It was really hard for me to sit there and be present. And, as a yoga instructor myself, I'll always be an advocate for that practice. It's a deeper state of meditation. It's really getting into your body. It's helping open up and direct this different energy for yourself that we're going to talk about a little bit more coming up pretty soon in this program. But again, I was awkward. I was trying to twist my body in all these weird ways. I was forced into my insecurities, my vulnerabilities, and I just hated it. And the meditative part was really hard for me. That space of being quiet and allowing ourselves to just be and listen. Because just being in my own company for even 5 minutes was really hard for me. Just to give my inner voice that space to be heard. Because I didn't want to hear any of it. I didn't want to know what was there. Because again, things were tucked away, locked up, threw away the key. And I didn't want any part of it. So I would sit there and I would fight it. I would just, hold my breath, wait for the teacher to start talking again so they could just tell me what to do. And, my mind would wander and I just couldn't stop the in-stream of thoughts coming in, all these self-destructive thoughts and regular programs that just run in the back of my mind with all this negative self-talk. But in that process, those whispers were still there. That guidance, that little nudging of inner wisdom and guidance was just telling me to keep going, to keep doing it, and to go back and to go back again. And so I did. I started going back and I started to trust. I started to have more patience, and I really started to feel guided. And then I felt this thread starting to be pulled very slowly, very gently and nurturing. And something magical really started to happen for me. as I was able to get more comfortable, to find that trust, I was able to start to let go. Start to let go of some of the heaviness and some of the armor that I'd been wearing for a really long time. And allowing myself to really sit and listen. I started to listen. I was giving in. I was like, okay, I'm going to start to face some of these obstacles and things that have really been blocking me from getting what I want in my life. And as the quote on the screen says here, by the interfaith guru from Brooklyn, Majaya Sati Babadgati, says, quiet the mind and the soul will speak. And as soon as I was guided into that meditation and that quiet open space, and I fell really honestly into it, it was as though my soul had burst right from my chest, like it had been gasping for air my entire life. And this type of revelation kind of happened for me, that aha moment. And a different part of myself was beginning to emerge, the one who I felt that I had lost touch with so long ago. So, is this program about meditation? No, but it is a big part of it. It's really stopping to listen, to give yourself that space, to give yourself that time and attention to listen, to discover, to create. And it's a big step through each part of this process. So I began to nurture this part of myself that was starting to emerge. The stranger yet the old friend, right? Someone that I knew was always there at some level. I knew she was there. I was pushing her down. I wasn't feeding anything that she needed. And so I started to move more down this path of self-care, self-discovery, and I was getting excited. And I was like, wow, there's possibilities for me. I don't have to be in this space all the time. And I found a meditation group across town with this wonderful woman who to this day is still a wonderful mentor of mine, and business coach for myself. And she, along with many other people that have served as guides and inspiration to me, have really helped ignite my path for myself to start to embark on this new journey and create the life that I really wanted and that I felt that I really deserved. So, and they were all reminders that all that I needed was already within myself. I already had everything that I needed. And I was already connected to that bigger whole, the bigger part of the universe, that abundance and that just big innate wisdom, guidance, and energy. And there's finally starting to be a deeper connection with myself. There was something happening that was really magical, and I was no longer living on just the surface of who I was. I was starting to fall into a deeper, more beautiful, true, and authentic place. So we're going to go back. So fast forward a few years, I decided to make some really big changes for myself. I demoted myself into my job. I went back to waiting tables. I went back to school. Granted, I lost my house in the process. A lot of things, came down for me, but I believe in, for true transformation, if you're familiar with the goddess Kali, there's chaos. Sometimes things need to burn down so that they can build back up. So I didn't know that at the time. So it was a real challenge for me. And I was moving through this, difficult growth phase in my life. But I knew that I was going along the right path. So I just kept going. And I knew I would get through it on the other side better for it. So I started to chip away at some of these walls, starting to let people in, starting to let myself feel some things again. I ended up opening up my own yoga and wellness studio. I became a body and energy worker, a meditation coach. I hold sacred circles for women, for support, for guidance and connection. and getting back to nature and manifestation and all these beautiful things to help us bring what we want into our lives. And I've learned so much in this process. And I'm so thankful to have been able to have a space to hold for not only others, but for myself, and to create the sense of community that really made my soul sing. It made me really light up, and I knew that I was really on the right road to living an authentic life for myself. So, if this is resonating with you, that maybe there might be some of these shifts that need to take place. They can be small, they can be big. It doesn't have to be a whole eat, pray, love moment where you chuck everything off to the side and go move to Bali, right? Perhaps that is your calling, that is your most authentic life. But this is about, really sitting back and taking a look at your life, your path that you're already on, and what adjustments you can make from a more stable point, and to make some really informed choices to move forward in a positive and productive way to bring what you want into your life, and to make some of these either large or more minor shifts. And that's what this method does. It helps you break that all down. It helps you really sit and look at everything that you have in your life. It helps you discover what you want, who you are, what you want to create for yourself, to let you know that you're worthy of it and you deserve it, and that you have the ability to move forward and bring anything that you want into your life. And it shows you how to get it. So I'm excited to move forward and start explaining a little bit more on how this method works. So thank you for hanging in there with me and listening to my story and my process through this. So this Discover Yourself Elevation method is something that I put together that goes along this ancient system of healing. And it was by really stopping and listening and getting into my body and working through this system that I was really able to find my voice. I was able to feel safe, supported, and secure, to get the confidence to take what I wanted in my life without apology, without any excuses. And it's through that experience that all I've gotten and I've created with this method and going through this process has been amazing. It's been transformative for me. It's nothing that I ever thought I would ever be capable of. And I'm truly humble and honored to have what I have in my life right now and who I have in my life. And it's a system that has the secrets of moving past the obstacles or your perceived obstacles into living your most authentic and a happy life that you possibly can. So this system itself that this method is based on, you may be familiar with, especially if you're a yogi and have taken some yoga classes before, if you're familiar with any kind of Eastern practices and an energetic based system for ourselves. So what the system is based off of is the chakra system. So if you've heard of chakras before, it's an energy body system that we possess. And it helps to regulate not only our physical, but our spiritual and emotional functioning as well. And the word chakra means wheel or disc. So if you can imagine, residing within the body and extending outward are these little spinning vortexes of energy. And they all resonate at a different frequency. They all give off different vibes. And they help to regulate different aspects of ourselves. And they start developing at a very early age, starting where you can see those roots there, our root, that's our grounding, our foundation, our sense of safety that develops really early in life. And then we move up and we elevate through that system all the way up through the crown of the head to where we have that sense of divine connection, peace, and clarity, and an understanding and a knowing of who we are and what our place is in the world. So that's what this system is based off. It's moving through these parts of ourselves. And they can be balanced. They can be a little too open. They can be a little too closed or blocked completely. And that can really help to block or sabotage bringing anything that we want into our lives. To be balanced, to be authentic, to be true to who we are and what we want. And we work to, we have thousands of these within our energetic system, but there is a main system of 7 that this system and program and method are based on, the 7 main chakras. And that's what we work to go through and help to really offer some balance, some guidance, and moving past those obstacles that disrupt that flow of energy, of abundance, and of health for ourselves. So yeah, that sounds good. We're moving in the right direction. If this is resonating with you today, we're going to dive deeper into this method and go through these steps on how you can start to move forward to create your very own roadmap to creating the life that you want. And we can start to see the challenges that we've been facing, and we systematically through this process we talk through meditation and some of these other tools I'm going to share with you through this process. We can start to move past those obstacles. We can start to discover who we are, and perhaps where we're pretty good, where we feel pretty balanced and pretty strong. And maybe there's just a couple tweaks and minor shifts that need to happen to really open up that flow of energy to move forward in a good and positive direction. So we are going to work to build your roadmap to your most authentic and happy life yet. So this program is about starting from the foundation and moving our way up systematically through that system. And it's building that ideal roadmap. It's finding cohesion. It's finding that place of authenticity, from having our most primal instincts and needs met first, of feeling safe and stable, to finding intimacy, to stepping into our power, finding our self-esteem, to finding our voice, speaking our truth, trusting ourselves, and ultimately and finally being at peace with who we are and our place in the world. So if that sounds good, awesome. I want to help you arrive to that moment and that place of, wow, I finally know who I am. I finally know what I want in life, and now I know how to get it. Now I have a plan to move forward and create the life that I have always wanted, and that roadmap to my most authentic life and my most happiest and truest life I can possibly live without apology, right? So working with this method and doing the work, you'll leave with lifelong tools to keep you on track, to keep you balanced, and to keep you aware of when you might be falling off of that roadmap and that path, to maybe notice when you might be stuck, and a reminder of how you want to show up in life. So we can often, lose sight of that sometimes as we move through life. So, with this plan, this process, this roadmap that we're going to create, it's knowing if what you're doing is aligning with who you are and where you want to be in your life. So I'm going to break this down for you. And, this may not be for everybody. So, if you're still with me, if this is resonating, awesome. We're just going to go through a little checklist to see if this might be the right fit for you. So, this method won't be for you if you just kind of want a quick fix. If you just want to go through a few simple steps and poof, your life is shifted and changed in a tremendous way. There is some work that needs to be done, so you need to be willing to do the work. If you're not open to answering some of the oftentimes hard questions of what your obstacles are, what your blockages are, and what's been holding you back from having the life that you want up until this point. If you don't have a commitment to move forward and to make yourself a priority, then, this isn't going to work as well for you. And if you're not ready to dive in and take a good look at your life, okay, that's how we begin. We map it out, we lay it all out, and we take a look at our life from many different aspects and see where we're at and see where we've come from up until this point. And so we need to know where we're at now before we can determine where we want to be and how we can move forward and what that goal and roadmap is going to be leading us into. So yes, this is for you. Okay. So this method is going to be a good system for you to work through, if you're feeling a bit lost with who you are and your direction and what you really want in your life. It's going to be for you if you're ready to move forward and create the life that you've always wanted. This method is going to be for you if you're open to facing those perceived obstacles in your way, to really sit back and look some things in the face and be like, I see you. I'm going to work to make the necessary shifts to move past this and to build upon that and to move forward and not be stuck in the past, but I want to move forward in this direction. Okay. And if you're willing to show up and do the work. So it's your life. We work together to really dig into this and get the tools and do all the things that we need to do to get you to this place. But ultimately, it's you doing the work. It's you in that commitment to making yourself a priority. Okay, that sounds good. We're gonna get into it here. So our first step, the first thing you need to do, in this Discover Yourself Elevation method is to ignite your spark. And that is where we begin this journey. It's by picking things apart. I mentioned the laying out of everything, taking a good look at every aspect of your life. So you need to see, where am I good? Where do I feel really balanced? Where do I feel like there's a big deficit, that there's, this void, this perhaps stuck energy, perhaps it feels a little bit muddy or even confused in some aspects. And again, to see where you want to go and where you might need to do some more specific work. And that's what's great about this. It's not a cookie cutter program. It's designed specifically for you, for what you need and your obstacles and your path. So it's really getting in to what you need specifically for yourself. And it's getting that commitment. Okay. We need to start there. You need to start by making the commitment to making yourself a priority, to carving out the time that you need, to letting go of what no longer serves you. Okay. We start to look at some of those obstacles, some of those fears that come up from moving forward. And we start to let some of that stuff go. Okay. So right from the beginning, we start to shake the foundation a little bit. Okay, not too much, not to make it scary. We're working to let go of some of these fears, but it's being ready to do better, being ready to be better, and to figure out who you are and what you want, and to start to finally find that cohesion and that sense of abundance and love and really peace and contentment in your heart for who you are, what you have, and what you're doing. So this ignition is the fuel to kind of spark that fire you need to get yourself motivated and start to move forward. Then we start with the foundation, right? So just like anything else, it needs to have a strong foundation in order to build upon. So this is where we start, and from moving forward from that commitment. And because if you're to transform in any way, you need to feel safe. You need to feel supported and have your basic needs met first. So this is a place of centeredness. It's the primal connection to yourself, whether or not it's your family, your community. Okay, so we need to be supported not only in our own bodies, feeling good in our own skin. We need to have a strong and supportive environment around us, through people, through community, through your environment. So this is what we take a look at first, to make sure you have the support that you need to get grounded into your body, to be here, to know that you have a right to be here. You have a right to move forward and address some of these fears and obstacles that are in your way. and how to move past them. So we start here to start to move forward from a place of stability. So now that you have that foundation and you feel supported, you're ready to move forward and really dive into this process, this is where you give yourself the permission to create. This is the space where we plant the seeds for creation and bringing what we want into our lives. We birth new ideas into existence, and we are full of possibilities. Anything is possible. So we give ourselves permission to enjoy the pleasures of life, to enjoy all those things that we want to see come into fruition for ourselves. And, how often do we, sometimes put our own needs and our own pleasures aside due to obligations? Oftentimes we find ourselves in that position. So here we work to discover what those passions are. What lights you up? What are you passionate about? Either in your life, what's important to you, and passions in other senses, passions and, perhaps a potential mate or intimacy with not only other people, but intimacy with yourself. So that's where we start to break, some of those potential walls down, because we need to love ourselves before we can love anybody else. So, starting to practice that self-care and self-love by setting some healthy boundaries and making some self-honoring choices here. And, discovering what we want and how we can bring about our creative energy in a positive and fulfilling way. So self-love through self-honoring decisions. And here we start to find our flow. Okay, we start to create, we start to get into that space and giving ourselves permission to build this roadmap and go through this process. All right, sounding good? I hope so. So once we plant these seeds, we know what these passions are. We need to believe that we're worthy of it, right? And we're getting into the follow through in this process. Okay. So I mentioned that before, I was a big self-sabotager because I didn't believe I was worthy of any of it. I didn't think I deserved a whole lot, and that stemmed from a lot of things in my past. The way I was raised, the things that happened to me, as a child and as growing up in these different, deeply ingrained grooves of repetitive negative self-talk and all these things that were a deep part of my existence my entire life. So this is where we step into our power. Okay. We realize that we're powerful. We realize that you're worthy. You're worth all of it. Your happiness is just as important as anybody else's. And you deserve to have exactly what you want just as much as this person, or that person over there. So this is where we move forward, where, you need to come from a healthy ego and believe that what you want is just as important. And to take back that power that sometimes we give away. We give away our power sometimes. And, when we fall into obligations, like I mentioned before, when we find ourselves in situations that we don't want to be in, and when we fall into sacrifice, we give away, our power, our freedom to live the life that we want. And but I just want to let you know that you are worth it. You're worth everything that you want to have for yourself. And it is possible. And you can create that life that you want. So just know that this is the excuses zone. This is where we form excuses to not move forward because we don't think we're worth it. We don't think we're powerful enough. We don't think we have what it takes. Whatever, those are those excuses starting to form. So this is an important step where we work to move past some of those really big obstacles that can really hold us back, that may have been holding us back our entire life of getting what we want. So this is where we start to make things happen. All right, so now we're making things happen. We got this drive, this will to move forward. And we need to start coming to that space from a place of love and compassion. So this is where we start to break down and maybe chip away at some more of those, those walls, that armor that we have. And again, that's protection. That's something that perhaps has been ingrained with us for a really long time and for a really good reason and purpose. But here we work to, give you the permission to love, to be loved, to soften some of those walls a bit, to move through life with compassion in our hearts, and seeing the beauty that's all around you. This is the space where you can settle into and start to be authentically happy for everybody else, that everybody deserves this happiness. Everybody deserves this fulfillment and this abundance in their lives. Again, just as much as you do, just as much as the next person. So we all deserve to live a healthy, happy, and fulfilling life. And so, believing it for other people, you need it for yourself as well. And this can be a place where we stop trusting our hearts, and we don't trust the value in our own happiness and our own love for ourselves and for other people. So here's where we start building on that love, right? And here's where we can offer some self-forgiveness. There's grief in this space. So there's obstacles through each of these steps that we work to move past, and seeing how we can overcome those perceived obstacles. Since if we feel like there's a place where we can start to move forward and keep that flow moving, keep that flow of energy going in the direction it needs to go. Okay, so now I didn't find my voice until really late in life. It came, oh gosh, probably well into my 30s. And I'm really glad I found it. I have it now. I use it all the time. And if you would have told the 7-year-old me that was really shy and timid and quiet, and you couldn't force a word out of me, in a classroom at that point. And if you would have told me that, today I'd be a teacher and a public speaker and doing all the work that I do now, I never would have believed you. But this is where we step into that space of finding your voice and speaking your truth. So you need to work on opening up your communication, and not only knowing how to effectively communicate, but knowing when to listen as well. So, this is not about pushing our opinions on others, but knowing how you communicate brings what you want into your life, or how your lack of communication brings what you don't want into your life, right? So, you need to work to shift your communication to move forward in that clear and positive, effective way. So this is the point where we take a look at all of that. This is where you can lose a lot of that authenticity in your life if you are not speaking from an authentic and clear place. And there's a lot of different ways to communicate, okay? Through voice, through other means. But this is where we work to explore how you can light up that shine and that light again, and really be expressive on who you are, on what you want, and how you're going to get it. And then we need to move into this next step is about trusting your inner guide. So trusting yourself, letting go of some of that self-doubt, right? We've already worked on building up some self-esteem, but as we carefully set down all these different layers upon layers and these different levels upon one another, through visualization, through talk, through meditation, this is where this roadmap and this life starts to take shape. This is where it starts to take form. You start to trust your inner guide, that inner voice, and that inner wisdom that you already know that you have within yourself to create the life that you want. Because now you're listening. Now you're present. Now you're giving yourself the space that you need. And excuse me, and it's living from a place of conscious choice and clarity. So we're moving through all these different aspects, all these different phases and levels, and we get to that place where we are finally at peace with our place in the world, with who we are as a person. We've uncovered all these different aspects of yourself. To know where you come from over here, to know how you stand over here, and to know what's important over here, and to have full access of who you truly are. This is having that understanding and that knowing. This is being there. This is it. To really move forward and to be authentic, to be true, to have all the tools that you need to live the life that you've always wanted. So in this program, if you're working if this is all resonating, sounding really good, the way that you and I work together in this process, it's not a cookie cutter program where I just send something out and leave you to your own devices to figure it out. We work one-on-one. We talk. We work through visualization, through meditation, with mantras, affirmations, worksheets. That's doing the work. It's mapping it out. It's taking a look at things and working through it, and even some sacred self-care rituals to incorporate into this process to really make that deeper connection with yourself is how we start to work through this process. And then there's accountability, right? So again, you're not left to your own, devices and self to figure it all out, because that's when we can really derail from our good intentions to bring what we want into our life. Life gets in the way. We fall into that excuses zone and things just stop happening, right? That's where I come in, because I am your accountability. I'm going to be there with you through this process, not only working with you one-on-one for each session, but checking in between to see how it's going. What's working? What's not working? What can we shift? How can we change this to keep that energy and flow moving forward? And, oftentimes, we get discouraged, we get scared. We, even if it's something that we want that's good for us, we have those blocks, and it's hard to move forward. But I am here to help keep that accountability for you throughout this process. So lots of support here. And the beauty of this is the way I created it the way I did is because I wanted to work one-on-one with you. I want to see you. And this is how this process works. I see you, you see me through each of our sessions, either, if not in person, then via this process here. And if we don't have that opportunity or that, perhaps the tech to make it possible, but I still want to hear you. I want to hear your voice. I want to listen to your story. And I want to have these conversations to work through all of it together, to carefully work through all the steps and to ask you all the important questions and to make sure that you are going down this right path and to discover all those answers that you already have within yourself, because you already have everything that you need right now. And we all do. We just need to know where to find it. We just sometimes need that guidance to know where to find those tools, those opportunities, those steps to move past those perceived obstacles to bring what we want into our lives. And isn't that comforting and exciting already to know that you already have everything that you need? It's already there. It's just a matter of finding it, unpacking it, organizing it, and putting it into a process that's going to work in an effective way for you. So I'm happy to be here to help you through that process and to learn that we don't need to seek outside of ourselves for answers, for fulfillment, for contentment, because we already have all that. We already have everything that we need. We have that innate, beautiful, wise, divine space within ourselves that's connected to everything and everyone else in the universe. I always like to say, the pilgrimage we seek is the journey to ourselves. We're always seeking outside of ourselves for things, but just knowing that we just need to turn around and look inward that we already have it is pretty amazing to me. So I'm excited to help you discover that beautiful part of yourself in this process. So together we'll talk through and see what those perceived limitations are and the steps that you can move past them, so that you can start to move through this forward flow to grow, to transform, and to move forward in a healthy way. And this program is powerful. It's in depth. It leaves no stone unturned to help you build that roadmap to living your most authentic and happy life that you can possibly live. So, are you ready? Is my question for you. Do you have the commitment? Are you ready to finally make yourself a priority, to get off that possible endless treadmill with no clear end in sight, and create a clear path made just for you to bring what you want into your life? So if you're still with me, if you're ready, I'll just ask, and leaving today from sitting down and carving out this time for yourself and having this conversation with me today, just ask yourself, do I feel inspired? Do I get the feeling, kind of in my gut that I need to create a new path and direction for myself, to figure out who I am, to figure out my life, what direction I want to go? So this is where we start to make that commitment. So if you're not sure, then we'll do just a little practice together right now. So I would like you to take a moment just to tune in. So as long as you're not driving, as long as you're safe to close your eyes, I'll invite you to do that. And if you can't, maybe just offer some reflection in a safe way here. But I want you to take a moment just to tune in. Okay, take a handful of breaths here. And I want you to start to fall fully into your body. I want you to see if you can picture and imagine in your mind's eye. I want you to picture yourself. Picture yourself in 2, 5, even 10 years from now. Doing nothing, making no changes, and just going back to doing what you've been doing, going along the same path. And what does that do for you? Do you feel content? Do you feel happy and balanced? And perhaps there's maybe some only minor tweaks and changes to be made here and there. Or perhaps you're feeling like you want to check in and see if everything that you're doing is aligning with yourself as a person. And now, eyes still closed if they are, I want you to imagine yourself now in 2, 5, even 10 years from now, living the life you were always meant to live. So having the things, being the person, being in that space with those people, whoever, whatever it is for you. Take a moment just to really see and feel that for yourself. And how does that make you feel? Does it light you up? Does it make you inspired? Does it bring a smile to your face and fill you with hope? That you want to commit to the process to begin to build the best life that you can possibly build. That you have the power to create whatever it is that you want. To be who and whatever it is that you want to be. And are you ready to start to learn and cultivate the tools that you need to bring that into your life? Okay. So I've spent so many years, in this process and going through these steps, and not always easy by any means. There's a lot of truths there. There's a lot of obstacles, and there's a lot of things that need to be shifted and changed along this process. But I spent many years stepping into that place of authenticity, to making my life what it is I want to be, to bringing my priorities and what feeds my soul into the forefront. So, building my business, just really working to help people spread these messages to create a healthier and happier planet, and working with some great people. There's a couple of my wonderful teachers in that photo with me there. My babies, my fur babies over there, and I've gotten the blessed opportunity to travel and to share and learn quite a bit along this journey and roadmap that I've created for myself. So I gave myself permission to heal. I gave myself permission to grow and to transform into my best self. And I'm really, really happy I did. And I'm blessed and honored to be in the position to be able to share some of that wisdom, some of those lessons I've learned along the way, and this method that I know will really work to act and be transformational for you. So I say, let's talk. I say, let's chat about it a little bit more. I've set aside some time in the next few days for a few free, what I call discovery calls. This is where we can just kind of sit down and discover where you're at, discover what you need, discover if this might be the right process for you. And they are limited. I only have so much time, to take the calls and to see who's going to be a good fit to bring into this program, to bring into my schedule, because I only have so much time to work one-on-one with people in this capacity. So I would love to talk to you. It's really easy to schedule a call. You can do it. You can do it right now if you want. You would just go to my website. It's heatherraymagic.com. I'll give you the link in just a minute, and you can book a free discovery call. And when you join me in this process, it's you and I all the way through. It's that accountability. It's that support. There's additional support available to you as well. So there's an online, private Facebook group where we can, continue conversations, excuse me, with each other. And excuse me, I'm going to take just a sip of water. There's that voice. It just keeps going. So you get all the support you need. We continue the conversations. We can share insights, struggles, support, and inspirations. And and getting to the end of the program, when you're ready to embark and move forward into this life of cohesion with all these abilities and tools that you have, we really make sure that you have the commitment and you have that confidence to move forward with this new roadmap that you've created, with all the love and abundance and power and everything that you need, that we've discovered along this path and this creation to build your best life that you can have, and to bring into fruition what it is that you want. So if you are ready to move forward, I would love to talk to you. So here's my website. There's the link. You can go to the Discover Yourself Elevation Method page and get your free discovery wheel. You can start mapping out your life right now and bringing what you want into your life. And I'm happy to talk to you, offer some insight, some tools, some guidance on where you want to go. And, it might not be the right fit if you just want some bullet points. You just want, a little bit of free information, and, you don't feel like you have that commitment yet. Then we might need to talk, about some different options for you at this point until you're ready to move forward in this capacity. And I don't take the commitment from you until I know that we're a good fit together. So that's why I want to talk. That's why I want to chat and work together to see if we're a good match to start moving forward in this process. So upon leaving and wrapping up today, I just want to let you know that you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are a priority, the most important person in your life, and you deserve to be happy. And it's time to start taking the time that you need for yourself to find that happiness that you know you can have and that you're worth it. So be good, have a wonderful day, and I hope that you schedule a call with me just so we can chat and see if we can start moving forward and go get your free discovery map and wheel and start mapping it all out. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, beautiful, and magical day. Namaste.